Expo. Joining me today, we've got Todd Kern. He's the Graphic Design Academy art teacher. Corey Kelchin, he does more than just Expo. He's around the district in various capacities as the academic dean for at-risk students. And then Mr. Brenton Chambers, who many of you know, he used to be at Bunger, now he is heading up Expo as the principal. So welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Where were you, Brenton, before you were at Bunger? Where were you before? Like, how long have you been with the district? Tell us about your background.
I've been with the district probably for about 10 years, I think it has been. I was here for a couple of years and left to go to Kansas City and came back. So I've been back 7 to 8 years. So I was the athletic director at East High before coming to Expo.
All right, and tell us about Expo. I guess the impression that you have now, having been overseeing the programs, what would you like to say about your school?
You know, Expo has been changing over the course of the years. Our logo is interchanging faces, and I think that fits well with what we're doing. We're always trying to find ways or avenues to get our kids connected back into school in whatever ways possible. And that's why these two individuals are here today also to talk about, just briefly about what they are doing to get them engaged. And I think that's been one of the nice things about Expo is trying to meet the kids where they are.
And that was my intent, to have more of an in-depth conversation today about Expo, because I think that when you talk about the stereotypes or the past, I think references to Expo, anytime a building or a facility within a district is labeled as an alternative education opportunity, it can be understood by some as a negative. But what I know from my interaction with the students at Expo is that for many of those students, they have been able to achieve and pursue opportunities that maybe the traditional high school setting would not have afforded them. And that's where Todd comes in as a graphic design academy head, specifically doing this print shop out of the facility. Talk about how this all came about and your background.
Well, my background, I was in the apparel business for about 17 years before retiring to become a teacher. I'm still a new teacher. I've been with Expo for 4 years now. And Brenton approached me and said, hey, could we teach students how to actually print shirts and actually, create products? And I'm like, well, sure, yeah. So we put together a proposal, and lo and behold, we got the equipment, we got the space, and a little under a year ago, we started pressing ink through screens and, making large format prints, and so just creating actual products.
And what I love about this is not like an old school shop where people are doing bad handles on ceramic mugs. I mean, this is legitimate business orders, and you're fulfilling professional community orders.
And it's student driven. Somebody will come in and say that we want something for a certain event, and we'll sit down, we'll have a bull session, just like when I was with large $1 million apparel companies. The students and I will sit down, we'll have a bull session, we'll come up with sketches and ideas, present them to the client. Okay, we want to go with this one. We'll go to what's called a color comp, which is then we tighten up the drawing, we put it on as an image of what it will look like. They like it, we go ahead and go forward then. Then we go to the production side. And talking about the alternative side of that, there are certain students that are really good at the drawing side, the computer side. There's certain students that are really, really skilled on the hands-on, the machinery side, and then there's a nationwide need for both. So we actually get the garments in, we could go into production, we actually print the garments exactly like how we would do in large scale, large retail shops, and then we box them up and ship them to the customer.
Can you drop any names for us? What were the previous brands that you worked in
I lived on the East Coast. I'm not from Iowa originally. I grew up in New York. I spent some time in New York City. I worked for Champion Products, a big sportswear company. I lived in Atlanta for a number of years, and I worked for companies that did contract work for the 1996 Olympic Games. I designed a line of clothing for the Olympics in '96 for Coca-Cola and Delta. And my big claim to fame is for about 5 years I was a creative designer on the creative staff of Abercrombie & Fitch. So, and like I tell students and I tell parents and I've told my administrators that, anything that goes on in my room is exactly like what I would do back in the day when we did it for, big retailers.
How exciting is it for these students to actually have that hands-on, real-world connection with somebody like yourself who is coming out of that real-world opportunity for experience?
And I see a lot of talent in the kids. I have students that are in my classroom who have got great talent, not unlike some designers that I work with in New York. And I'm not making that up. That is straight up legit. I mean, I've seen students that come up with stuff that is really fantastic and cool.
And it's great. We just interviewed for our Student News Expo edition, Dennis, one of your I would say, star students based on his passion. He wants to now pursue graphic design thanks to your tutelage and is going on to Hawkeye and then ultimately Iowa.
Exactly, and that's another component that Mr. Shavers and Mr. Kelch and myself have worked on the curriculum, is that we made ties with Hawkeye Community College. So like some of the students in my classroom are actually right now gaining credits to Hawkeye Community College. Yes, it's the drawing and the painting or the graphic design, but those are classes that they would want to take down the road anyway, so they're getting that college credit in my classroom.
So Corey, what we're hearing is that quote-unquote at-risk students are actually pursuing and achieving a lot of opportunities within the district that ultimately will, I guess, materialize as what might be meant for traditionally college-bound folks. Talk about that.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of our goal at Expo, is we get a lot of the students that haven't been successful in a traditional setting, but that doesn't necessarily mean they can't follow that same path, which is finding, or end up in the same place. It's just finding a different path for those students to get there. And what Todd's been doing is a great example of finding a path like that.
And great news coming out in the media in the past week that the dropout rate for Waterloo schools has significantly dropped. That's a credit to the work you and a lot of people in the district are doing to help keep these students not just in school, but in a program and offering them an option, because really it's all about choices, so that they do complete that diploma in a way that's still effective for future engagement in community and school opportunities.
We have a lot of people in our district that work hard on the graduation and dropout rates. We have a smorgasbord of options available for kids in our district. So when we do see a kid struggling, we really try to sit down with that kid, just find out what's going on in their lives or what's preventing them from being successful, and try to find the program that's going to fit for them. And our district's been really good at creating programs. If we find a certain group of kids where we don't feel like we have something that meets their needs, they're more than welcome to sit down and try to come up with something that will.
If you're just turning to us, this is Tara Thomas, Waterloo Schools. We have 3 folks from Expo and beyond at risk regarding all of the services we're providing through the school districts. We're talking specifically about Expo, but there are some opportunities beyond Expo's walls. And when you talk to Corey Kelchin, he can tell you could be shopping at Dillard's, head out the door, and right there you might observe what is a Waterloo Schools classroom, Crossroads Connections. Tell us about that and how that's going.
That's correct. We have a classroom out at the mall. It's called Crossroads Connections. This is actually the first full year. We implemented at the beginning, or in the middle of last school year, so this is the first full year, and it's going really well. We're having quite a few kids showing up out there and earning credits. And the nice piece about the mall is we can kind of tie into some of the retail stores out there and do some internships, or some even already have jobs out there and they're able to go work their job for a little bit and then just go down the hall and pop in and do some classwork for a little bit. It's also a great opportunity for the public just to get out and kind of see some of the things that the school district is doing as far as our online classes. I know that the teacher we have out there is great about welcoming them in, and she'll show them how the online classes are working. There's always a lot of skeptics out there with the online learning, and it's not for every student, but it's nice to have an opportunity for the public to get in and see what that's like.
To actually have the students themselves show the public, I think it's been real
Yep.
So Brenton, talk about your advice, having been in the district now almost a decade. You were in Kansas City, you came back, you just couldn't believe the lure of Waterloo brought you back. What is it that parents and grandparents listening need to know that will help you and the folks at Expo do better by their kids?
You know, truly, it's just getting them, encouraging them to come in and talk to us. I think that's the main thing, is getting them in the door. Corey mentioned that we have a number of options available for students, and that the district has been wonderful with trying to set up different programming to get students engaged. And one of the things we do, and we're doing here shortly, is surveying these students, our student body again, to see what other type of academy structures do they want to get into or get involved in, and then try to set that up so that they can work in tandem with the graphic design academy, but also put a different twist on that as well and get them engaged that way.
If I can just jump on board with that too, is that students in my graphics design academy, I'm trying to get more students from East and West to come over as well. And I'm working with Brendan, like we're going to set up transportation and work with scheduling such that a student might start their day over at East, come over and work with me. If it's really identified for the students who have really said to themselves, I really want to get in this business, be it photography, graphic design, apparel design, production. So we're really working toward working up a system so that we could have students from East and West actually join us over at Expo for a short period, a couple of periods during the day, to work with us in the print shop.
Yeah, just to lose that stigma of what Expo is a discipline building. Expo High School is not a discipline program. And we really are trying to find avenues to to engage them. Yes, we have discipline programs in our building, but they're on different floors of our program, and the high school itself is not, and I want to stress that, it is not a discipline program. It's just for students who are looking for a different alternative.
My classroom is like a design firm, really, whether it's photography, graphic design, large-scale print, or actually we're making products, it's a design firm.
I love that. I mean, it's truly mirroring the goals of this whole 21st Century High School Task Force push, because what ultimately Waterloo Schools wants to offer is that direct connection, that marriage between business opportunities for students and that hands-on training in the classroom, which under the direction of Todd Kern and the Graphic Design Academy, and specifically the print shop at Expo, this is already happening. One thing that I have to mention, Mr. Shavers, the principal at Expo, talking about how that building, Expo, is not an alternative, quote-unquote, discipline location for students. It's offering a lot more, and I can tell you that when we do our Waterloo School student news, some of the Expo students are some of my best future anchors. Deontay is one who I tell him he's got the very white voice for broadcasting. We've got Diana and Louise, who I know Louise works with you in Print Shop, Todd, and I have joked that when the two of them together, it is like a great Latino broadcast. So we've even had them inject some Spanish into their broadcast, and I'm just so impressed with so many of these students that I've come in contact with coming out of Expo. So it's great to have you folks really affirm that to the listening audience, that what we're offering as a Waterloo School District for kids who might choose the path of Expo is far beyond a disciplined, structured alternative to the traditional setting. It's these opportunities that are going to directly plug them into future jobs, be it in apparel, graphic design, the kinds of jobs that somebody like Todd has worked in and is now able to apply directly to the student skill set in the classroom. Corey, what about you? What advice for those parents and grandparents who right now have a potential dropout on their hands? How are we going to offer them something that engages them and sees them through to getting that diploma?
Contact us. You can call the ESC building, or you can call us at Expo. The best thing is for us to just kind of sit down and talk through some things and see what's going on, and more than likely we have some type of program available that we think will fit, and we're always more than willing to try that with any student. So.
And what is the discipline, I guess, climate like, Mr. Shavers? How would you describe it? Because I know when I visited your building, it's always a very professional, controlled environment. And I think that might be the key, is some of these community members might need to just stop by sometime and see it for themselves. You know, visit that print shop, see that you have a professional level going on right under the roof of Expo.
Right. There's, for our district, we obviously have they put all alternative ed programming under one roof, pretty much, and that's, so when students are suspended from different programs or their buildings, they come to us. They're in the WebC program, Educational and Behavioral Center upstairs, for short-term stays, some are long-term, but they are separated from the high school component, so there's no interaction between the different programming, which is a good thing. So I just want to make sure that our listening audience knows that that stigma of Expo being where the bad kids go. I've heard that over and over again. It's like trying to say no, it's totally opposite from that. We really want to encourage them to get engaged into some real world experiences so that they can carry that out after graduation.
I love that.
Being a classroom teacher, I can attest to that. I mean, I don't see a lot of students that might be at or in WebC on a day-to-day basis. I know students up there. I love them. I go up there and say hi and see what's going on in their lives. But as a classroom teacher, no, I don't see those particular students. Unless later on they come down and they want to join the program, and then we accept them in with open arms.
And why would you leave behind what could have been a lucrative future in apparel, Todd?
Well, it certainly isn't the salary, I'll tell you what. No, there were times when I was sitting, in board sessions, in meetings with top-level designers and saying, this would make a cool lesson to show a kid, honestly. I just wanted to teach, and that's really what we can call the draw to the classroom, or whatever you want to call it, but I just wanted to teach, really.
And how has your vision materialized? Was it born out of your meeting with Mr. Shavers? I mean, you talked about a plan. Like, how can we repeat the Todd print shops of the world across the district?
Well, the neat thing about it is that we work very closely together. He doesn't know what it's going to look like, nor do I, but we work together to build it. And just it's similar to like what I experienced in the professional world. We don't know what a line of clothing might look like, but you gotta work through the challenges and turn the obstacles into barriers to propel you forward. It's worked really well. We get more machinery in, we get new techniques we want to try, and we'll be successful at that, and we're moving forward. And I just can't wait to see what next year's going to look like. What's it going to look like? We're still working that out. But every 6 months, every 2 months, it's gotten better and gotten more. We've been able to do more in the room and with the students, and it's exactly the path and the track I want to be on.
And I mean, I have to thank our district maintenance staff as well with Marty Metcalf, because anytime we need updating within that program for, you know, equipment or wiring or whatever it is, they've been right on that too. So that's been a help, bringing all that on board too.
So if a business person or somebody's listening who would want to place an order with your print shop, are you able to take more orders? I know you guys have probably more business than you can get done.
We really do. That I would definitely have them contact me. Contact Expo's main office, and they'll get in. The office staff will get them in touch with me. But less than orders. But if they would, I would like to see about some of the professional students that I've worked with move forward into setting up internships. Even just going to walk through an actual office area to see what sort of what's going on in the real world, but they will see the direct correlations to what they have on their computers or the conversations in the business world that we have in our classroom every day.
So 433-1930, is that the correct number? Okay, 433-1930, that is the main office number for Expo. And if you'd like to connect with Mr. Shavers or Todd Kern with the graphic design print shop program, you can also reach Corey Kelchin that way as well, right? Or do you want to give out your cell or not?
I can give my cell phone out too. I have a work cell phone.
Okay, go ahead. If you want to call Mr. Kelchin, he's great at helping facilitate whatever opportunity your child or grandchild might have in the Waterloo schools.
Yep, you can also call the Expo number that's just given out, or you can call me at 319-215-2209.
Okay, 215-2209.
Correct.
And I guess this last point that I would like to pose to all three of you is, why is it critical for our young people, regardless of their life situation, to continue to pursue these educational opportunities that might not be the traditional ones that their parents or grandparents had originally intended for them? Corey, do you want to take that?
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much data out there now about the difference between a high school dropout and a high school graduate and a college graduate as far as what kind of jobs, et cetera, they're going to get down the line. We also know things have changed a lot. You know, 25, 30 years ago, you might have been able to find a successful career without that high school diploma, but it's so much tougher now, and it really puts those kids in a tough position if they don't have that diploma in their hands.
A lot of the students that I work with, both within the academy and outside the academy, a lot of the students will share with me that they understand that that education is the golden ticket, the key, and but many of them in their family situations might not really know what's the best path. That's why when Corey says that have them talk to us, certainly open up a dialogue, definitely talk to us, because you know the Expo, the traditional path, the Expo path, there might be even yet another track that might really fit their life situation. And it isn't necessarily the drive to go back to school. Many of these students that I work with definitely want to go back to school and continue with school, but they just don't know which track might be best for them.
That's great. Well, I think this is good advice. Mr. Shavers, wrap this up for us before we bring in Britt with Waterloo Schools Foundation. She's going to talk about what is a really cool opportunity for kids to get a free ticket to Hawkeye Community College. Right, Britt? So let's get Mr. Shavers in though with the last point. I'm calling you Mr. because you're the principal, so I have to be more professional in how I refer to you, Britton.
You know, Todd just said that, you know, it may not be that traditional path, and I think that's one of the things that we are continuing trying to do is to get their input, and if there's things that they're interested in, to see if there's a way we can incorporate that into our programming or create programming to help them achieve those goals. So contact us. I guess I can't stress that enough. Just contact us and talk with us to see if there's things that we can do to help you get back engaged.
Well, thank you all, gentlemen. Clearly, you're already on the right track with the success of Todd's tutelage and this whole print shop graphic design program, as well as Corey and his team's success in terms of all the at-risk programming and where that has led to a large drop in our dropout rate that we're thrilled to celebrate. And thank you, Brenton, for coming by, and I had to twist his arm a little bit to get him in here because, you know, he's busy, he's a principal, so they always have a lot going on, and we thank you guys for taking some time away to talk with us. And we're not even taking a break, because we're just gonna go right into Britt. Britt, how do I say your last name? Because it's spelled Jungck, so try
It
to
looks scary,
hit that one
but
correctly.
it's just young.
Young, okay,
Yes.
okay, and she is the wife of a Waterloo teacher, as am I, but she's also the head of the Waterloo Schools Foundation. So tell us about this really cool event coming up, and we want to make sure Expo kids are taking part in it.
Exactly. On Saturday, May 17th, we're hosting the very first Super Student Scholarship, or Scavenger Hunt. And basically, we're going to host a scavenger hunt for all of the 10th through 12th graders in the Waterloo Community School District. Kids are going to do a variety of activities: academic, athletic, artistic. They're going to eat gross things. They're going to do all those things that are fun. But the great thing is the grand prize is a completely free semester of tuition at Hawkeye Community College for every member of the winning team.
And that would be up to how many scholarships?
Four
scholarships. Okay, so
it's
four
a value
members.
of $2,000.
And the great thing, it's really cheap for these kids to take part. What is it, $5?
It's $5. So basically, we just want them to have a little skin in the game. So we get everyone to show up that day where we're going to give them a free T-shirt, free food, a lot of fun, and there's other prizes too. The other teams, 2nd through 5th place, could win things like gas cards, and there's Beck's gift certificates and scratch cupcakes, and it'll be a lot of fun. But the grand prize is pretty significant. Hawkeye Community College wanted to partner with us to try to find a way to get kids access to education, because they believe it's the key to best employment. So it's $8,000 worth of scholarships, $2,000 for each student on the winning team. So
I love
it's
that.
pretty amazing.
So if anyone's listening, they could essentially give you $20 to sponsor a team of 4 students, right?
True,
Because that
true.
would cover them for that event.
Exactly. If you would like to sponsor a team of students, it's a great way, because there might be students that might need a sponsorship. So you can also donate $20 towards a team, and we can let each school, let me know if it's open to every school or students at a particular school, and we'll make it happen. We're dropping off registration forms at all the high schools this week, and posters, so they can go up in all the buildings, and the students can sign up in their main offices of each school. So it's pretty easy. They just fill out a form, give them the $5 per person, and they're set.
And tell me the number to the Waterloo Schools Foundation.
The phone number is 939-9550, and if you have any questions, you can give me a call. But it's going to be a fun day. We've got great sponsors like Target Distribution and Sam's Club coming out that day, along with Power Engineering and Manufacturing, and we'll have about 50 volunteers on the West High campus trying to make it happen. So it will be guaranteed fun and possibly a great future for the people who win.
And if you're just joining us, this is Tara Thomas, Waterloo Schools. We've been talking this half hour with the Expo, all things Expo, with Mr. Brenton Shavers, the principal, with Corey Kelchin, who's the academic dean of at-risk students, and then Todd Kern, who oversees what's been an incredible growth and success story coming out of Expo with their graphic design print shop as a former apparel guy, now art teacher, who has come to really help students engage in what we're really likening to 21st century high schools and the future of our district in terms of preparing students for careers that will be ready to go right out of not just necessarily a 4-year college, but even a 2-year technical school, or some of the training while they're still in their 10th through 12th grade period. So talk about that, Britt. You're on the front line of getting that private community backing, and we've been successful via the foundation of plugging a lot of private dollars into what is a public school setting. So when you see a graphic design program that has been born out of Expo and how that is really marrying these business and job opportunities for students, what do you see in your line of work as that future opportunity to continue these partnerships?
Well, I think it's examples like that that really led me to this position when I took over in November.
Because you had a background with
Yes.
the chamber.
I was working at the Alliance and Chamber. I was the director of workforce development, and I worked with businesses each day that said they can't find the employees that they need. I also used to work in the manufacturing department at Hawkeye Community College, and we said the same thing. We just, this community needs qualified, skilled labor, and if you can get a great quality job, then the opportunities are endless for your future. And I think I just saw that we needed to start earlier. We needed to start younger and with our students and try to plant those seeds earlier. So now when I'm approaching our employers that I used to meet with, I'm showing them that we're serious. The foundation has invested $500,000 in just 3 years back into the Waterloo Community School District. So we've gotten private donations from the community and beyond to reinvest and add extra academic support for our school district. And we're actually a unique foundation as far as school foundations go across Iowa because we only do provide academic support. We don't provide athletic support. We're not the scholarship fund. So we basically, our role is to make sure that every student can participate and achieve what they want to academically, regardless of their personal barriers that they might face. So if there's something going on, we're trying to set up a program that we can eliminate that barrier and get them access to quality education. So, like these programs that we're hearing about today.
So it would be my assumption then that an employer or a local business would be more inclined to support our foundation, i.e. the Waterloo Schools, if they know it's going to translate into future employees that are qualified who can fill those open positions. That's going to save them time and money because they can look in their backyard and not outside of our valley for their future hires.
That's the dialogue we're starting. We're showing them that, okay, you might have 100 positions open. We have students here and they don't know that these opportunities exist. So let us get them exposure to your company, and in return, if you can invest with us, we can amp up the programs available so that way when they graduate and they have the skills they need to be successful employees for you. And we're definitely seeing that we're making strides in the past few years.
So we got about 1 minute and 45 seconds left here. So let's wrap it up with, and I kept these guys here, that wasn't the intention. They're like, you know, twiddling their thumbs because they have to get back to all important matters that they're overseeing in the district. But I promise I'll let you guys go in 1 minute. So Britt, recap the scavenger hunt. The Waterloo Schools Foundation
Yes.
wants you, a local child in grades 10 through 12 in the Waterloo Schools.
You can enter as an individual and we will put you on a team, or you can get 3 other friends or colleagues and form a team of 4. Sign up in your school office. There will be forms in the office by next Monday and posters around the school. That event is Saturday, May 17th. The check-in's at 9:30 a.m. at West High. And it'll be a lot of fun, a great way to get to know your fellow students from around the city, but also possibly win a full semester of free tuition from our partners at Hawkeye Community College.
I love that. So 4 full scholarships to Hawkeye
4
Community
full
College are being
scholarships.
offered off of what is a $5
Yes.
fun team
And
spirited
Hawkeye
event.
is partnering with us that day, and they're designing a very fun activity. I do have to say, it's going to be.
Is that the Brenton Shavers dunk tank? Oh, no.
No. But let's just say
I'm
it's
sure
going to
no
be
kid-
entertaining
I'm
for
sure
the
no
kids.
kid would want to dunk any of the administrators in the
Oh,
schools.
never.
Well, thank you so much to everybody for joining me. A lot of great things to celebrate in the Waterloo Schools. We're continuing to shout from the rooftops that our dropout rate continues to decline. And it is through the programs that Corey Keltrin, Brenton Shavers, and Todd Kern are a part of that we are seeing those results. So thank you for spending some time with us to hear more about Waterloo Schools. Thanks to Britt Young. Young?
Yes.
Okay, I don't know why I always
That's okay.
question that. With the Waterloo Schools Foundation, we thank you for your support, and we will see you next time. Have a great day. That was good, Britt.
Yay.
Yeah, that was good that we had him here because I told Brian Randall, people I didn't know he was Cambridge Todd, but I mean, he does have an example of what they want to realize with his technical education. Because that
Well,
print
I'll
shop
tell you
is,
that
I mean,
We
doing
got new money
professional.
out of John Warren here, owns Power Engineering and Manufacturing,
Okay.
and I circled back to him and I was like, you know how you always complain about how you can't find CNC people? Let's make it happen. So I think that is the angle we're using, so.
I didn't tell you guys that she records those and puts it on YouTube, so.